Hey everyone, and welcome to Gearbox. If you're a regular on my channel, you will know of the Jeep-like SUV I've building on the other side of the 8x8. I'll do a video on this at some point, but either way, I'm usually building the Jeep. When I'm done the Jeep, I'll be going on to the challenge mode or whatever it is, but as I learned the game, I decided to make a truck. My first truck in the game. I took the normal vanilla dually, made it all-wheel drive and changed some stuff with it, made it a 3-speed and so on. But, oops, this is my first truck. I started with the chassis. There's nothing crazy going on, just pretty much a simple independent. The arms are a little angled to keep the chassis a little higher. And then the axle just comes straight out. And then this is just angled so that it has stability on the top. And the front differential, this is just to kind of lock it when I want to, like a locked differential kind of thing. And then we've got two motors to power it. They go into here and then out through the middle and down into the middle differential. And then there's another like locking kind of thing for the middle diff. It's full-time all-wheel drive, but then I can lock it into four-wheel drive kind of thing. And then typical steering, this goes over and then down, and then this just rotates separately from the drive shaft. And then this typically goes up to the steering wheel, but it likes to disconnect. So yeah, just a simple independent suspension. The rear end is the exact same, except I removed the motors and steering, so it's literally just the same thing. And then I turned the suspension stuff around. And then we've got our batteries tucked under the bed. Same rear diff lock. Let's see. The rear drive shaft. Simple chassis. And then we've got underglow because why not? I love underglow. Neon, whatever you want to call it. The chassis is aluminum. Or steel. Okay, yes. It used to be aluminum. Now it is steel. I missed that one block. Either way. And then the body and whatnot are carbon fiber. And this is probably the best looking vehicle I've made so far. Oops. I keep doing that. So, basically I took the fender from the dually and made it into a grill. And then just kind of built around it from there. The hood does open, or it's supposed to open, but it doesn't like to work. And then the bed, kind of weird because it has to go around the differential and the suspension bits. And then just a simple interior. Got turn signals, lights for the lights and stuff, and then these ones are to signal when the differentials are locked and so on. And then you have all the needed lights, turn signals, first lights, and then what buttons are for the lights, I forget. Normal headlights, high beams, and then the fog lights, and then there's the rear running lights as well, and it's got tow hitch. But the kind of special thing about this is it has adjustable ride height. It's fairly simple, it's just up and down, and the springs get really compressed. I didn't really do it the greatest, so it doesn't work quite properly when you lift it. But as you can see, it just simply goes up and down. And then the steering doesn't there's no bump steer when it goes up and down either. And the thing is, that is actually technically also the sway bar. So instead of having the springs or the coilovers directly on the links, I brought the sway bar up and over like I normally would, and then I put an arm off the back of the sway bar, so it's like a cantilever style suspension instead of a normal style. And we've got our normal logic, so yeah, just a simple, for the most part it's just a basic chuck, and then we've got solar panels on the roof, and I will pull this off for a better look. So, yeah, just simple bed with all the wonderful stuff on the bottom. And then I decided to make a 4-door version. This is the exact same as this, except it's a 4-door. Just more space. I need to fill in a couple more gaps, but other than that, it's the exact same. And then a bit more, 3 more solar panels on the roof. And the tailgate should open. I don't feel like testing it right now. For some reason, as you can tell, the front doors don't like to open properly for some reason, so I'm not gonna worry about trying anything else on it. This version, like I said, this is exactly the same as that one. This one, however, has a straight axle in the back. This has the same 4-link with panhard that the Jeep has. So if you'd like to know how I did that, maybe watch those videos. But it's just a simple 4-link. Come on. So we have our 2 links on either side, just going to the back, to the axle, and then a simple panhard bar coming across, and then we've got our sway bar. I've also started using the cylinder instead of this piece here, because it just looks better, it looks smoother. And then drive shaft is the same up until here. It's mostly the same truck, other than the rear end is a little different. And the front is the same, and so on. Oops. And then, like I said, the only difference is it has a straight axle in the back. However, it can still change ride height with a similar cantilever suspension as before. And then because it has a panhard bar, it goes off to the side. That's the only issue with the panhard bar. If you watch this, the coilover, it goes way to the side because of the panhard bar. But at least where I am in Canada, for a vehicle to be legal, you must have a physical link between the steering wheels and the steering wheel. So your front wheels do the steering, and then you use the steering wheel to turn them left and right. And where I am, like I said, you must have a physical connection to them. You can't have it like hydraulic or something, or else it'll have to be a specialty vehicle with different insurance and stuff, if it's even road legal. You can have like a hydraulic assist, but like I said. So to have that, you typically have a tie rod and a drag link here. But in order to not have bump steer with that, you need to have a track bar or panhard bar. So that's why that does that. It's just because of the way things have to be annoying. This video isn't about explaining physics or legalities and stuff, so I'll just get back on topic. So, this one I made to be more of like a towing vehicle. I could probably add some more springs to it to make it a bit better for towing. And then this one is the Baja version, which is probably my favorite version of it. I will quickly take off the body. Alright, it's not locked. So this one, the body is mostly one piece, or it should be, yep. I cut out the entire interior of the bed, Still has underglow. And then just kind of connected it down there, so it's all one piece. It's got the same interior. I added a little bit of roll cage. There's not really room for a proper roll cage in this version, so I just had to kind of make it nice and simple. But what's special about this is the suspension. It has, I believe, yeah, a steel chassis, and then nice long arm in the front with lots of travel. And then it has a 4-link trailing arm in the rear, super long sway bars, and the rear sway bar is done the same way I typically do it in a scrap mechanic with springs. So it is actually adjustable. Come on, there we go. Turned off the dampening and just upped the spring rate a tiny bit. And then when the suspension's cycling up and down like it typically does, this can just slide back and forth. It doesn't affect the actual suspension travel. It has bump stops on the front and back, so when the suspension compresses, it'll hit these and these will slow it down even more. It has dual rate on the front and back, so these are a little bit stiffer. I thought they were going to be softer, but I usually do my bottom springs softer than my upper ones, but it typically works better if the upper ones are softer. So yeah, a little bit softer, and then these are set to help with the dampening. So it's set up like a normal dual rate coilover with bypass shocks, except for these aren't bypasses. And then the front has almost the same thing. It has the bump stops, not bypass, but these are the front bump stops. And then there's the normal coilover with the dual rate upper, and then something to help with a bit of the dampening. I should probably add another one of these top, but it handles just fine. And then I would like to change this out. The front sway bar is how I typically do it with the CV joint on both sides, but I would also like to do it the same as the back. And then we've got the motors in the middle underneath the cab with the batteries to keep the center of gravity as low and to the middle as I can. I would like to make an all-wheel drive version of this, but without making it wider. It's a bit of a pain in the butt because the arms will have to be much shorter, making them have less up and down travel. But here you can kind of see how I did the arms and the hubs and stuff. Like I said, these versions are pretty much just basic independent suspension. It's just done in a way that helps it be more compact. But aside from that, it's just basic stuff. But this one's the one that I really like. I guess I should now take them for a spin. This one also has extra lights on the back and on the front. And then the front bumper, the bottom of it is cut off so that it can not hit stuff as much. So I will throw the bits back onto this one and then take them each for a quick drive. I've also done it in a way that everything can be easily removed and put back on, because I really like being able to do that. So there we go. Everything's back on. And it's also quite laggy. So, yeah, just a basic truck. Nothing really special going on, like I said. It's fairly fast. I don't want to go top speed because I'm just using my keyboard at the moment, and it is a little hard to drive. Especially the Baja version, it's very hard to drive, but we're still accelerating and you can tell it's going faster. And since I took the body off, the screens on the inside aren't connected, so I can't tell how fast I'm going at the moment. But even with the sway bars, it still has a bit too much body roll. I should change that at some point, but being all-wheel drive with a locking center diff and front and rear differentials, it's a pretty good little truck. It's like a little mini truck kind of thing. And then, as I said and showed, this one's the exact same, but a four-door. So we'll take this one for a quick drive. The doors actually somewhat work on this one. The front ones don't open all the way, and the back ones don't close all the way. Kind of a bit of a pain in the butt. And then this one handles fairly well also. It could probably use a bit more tuning, but it's meant to be more of a proper utilitarian truck. You can actually use the bed for stuff, actually tow things with it. And yeah, it still has all the lockers and whatnot. Though nothing all that special. In my opinion. It's a cool truck, but it's basic. However, oops, Baja truck, I have spent a lot of time just tuning, and it soaks up bumps and jumps and stuff very well. It could definitely use more torque, but it has a very good top speed, and if I can, there we go. It'll even turn around corners like an actual Baja truck does on 3 wheels. But with using a mouse and keyboard, I just have to be very careful driving it because it is very twitchy. I should slow down the steering. But if I zoom in a little bit, you can see how the rear sway bar works. With the springs there. And then as I go over bumps, you should be able to see how everything just kind of moves. I'm going to go over here to where the bumps actually are. And like I said, it's pretty fast, but it has a fairly low acceleration. And you can kind of see the springs moving back and forth there, and everything else moving around. I still need to adjust the front end so that it's a bit higher and doesn't hit stuff as easy. But suspension-wise, this thing is awesome. It just soaks up everything. It could probably still use a little bit of tuning. Slightly different bump stops, but it handles everything that I've thrown at it so far. Go over into the dunes, and then I will end the video. Oops, see? And that's what I mean about having to be careful with driving it, is steering is way too quick, so it rolls very easily. And even with the batteries and the motors on the bottom, it's still very tippy. Especially with how wide it is, it's kind of surprising. But we'll see kind of how it handles on the dunes a bit better. And there again is why I need to work on the front end a bit. But yeah. Oh, something is stuck again. Yeah, the sway bars like to invert and get stuck as well, so that's another thing that I gotta kinda fix at some point. But I will kinda head back and end the video. I just wanted to do a quick showcase on this. It's not completely done, but I'm fairly happy with it at the moment. And then I have driven it with my controller. As you can see, the joystick axis is set up, but it's a bit finicky, and you can't move the camera when you're using the controller. You can see with that jump how it just landed nice and soft and smooth. So yeah, that is my Baja truck, and the other variants of pretty much the same truck. I'm thinking of uploading it to the workshop once I'm completely done and happy with it, but I don't know when that'll be. So, yeah. If you have any tips or tricks or anything, feel free to let me know. Anything you want to check out. I'm thinking of starting a community builds thing on this like I do on Scrap Mechanic. So if anyone's interested in that, let me know. And yeah. Other than that, as always, hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.